If you're a business owner wasting time and money on slow, ugly landing pages that don't convert, you need to stop what you're doing. I used Google's Antigravity to build this professional, high converting landing page in 10 minutes for $0. In this video, you'll learn my 3-step process to launch a beautiful and effective landing page without reinventing the wheel or touching a single line of code. Just in case you don't know what Antigravity is, it's a ridiculously powerful piece of software that Google's released, which lets you build websites, software, or whatever you want using AI agents. You can choose to code yourself in the integrated development environment if you really want to, but I don't know what I'm doing with that side of things and much prefer for AI agents to do the work for me. So let's jump over to antigravity.google and we're just going to want to download. I'm going to download the Windows version. All right, now we're just going to run the installer. All right, now it's finished installing. So we want to just go ahead and launch Antigravity. Let's just go through the install process. Definitely dark mode all the way. When we get to this screen here, we've got a few different options around basically how much autonomy we give the AI agents initially. I think for most people just starting out, you probably want to kind of err on the side of caution a little just to understand exactly what's going on and all the things that's kind of carrying out for you. So I'm just going to leave this set to review-driven development. Essentially, it will just ask you every time it needs to do something. Obviously, that's not the fastest way to use an AI agent, but it does give you a bit of an understanding, as I say, of like what it's doing as it's going through all the different steps. And you can see over here, it's got a range of different settings, which are basically saying that it's going to request review for most things. Later on, if we're wanting to get a bit more adventurous and have our AI agents really kind of take off and do their own thing, once we set them to work and not constantly bother us with questions every 5 seconds, we can select some of these other modes, which basically give a lot more autonomy to our agent. It obviously carries a little more risk when you're not explicitly okaying every single thing that it's doing. But for now, I'm just going to leave this set to the default review-driven development, which is probably what you'll be doing. We'll just hit next on that. If you're wanting to set up particular customizations and stuff, you can in here. But again, let's just keep it all to the defaults for now. And then we're just going to go ahead and sign in with our Google account. It's actually worth noting as well, I'm just signed into a free Google account, just like most of you will be. You actually get really decent token quotas with your different models that you're using. So you'll be able to develop all sorts of different landing pages, applications and things. So now we're all logged into our Google account. So the first thing we're going to want to do is open up a folder, which will be where our workspace, our project lives. So let's do that now. All right, so I've just opened up new landing page folder. All of our files and scripts and whatever other code and images, whatever we use in this project is going to be stored in this folder. As we're developing our own thing here, we're all good. If you're freaking out, wondering what all this is, just chill. All will become clear. We're actually going to lean on the AI to build pretty much everything for us, so don't worry. But just so you're familiar with Antigravity, it's like most modern IDEs like VS Code and things. We've opened our folder and now on the left, we'll see our file explorer, which is where all of our folder, our files and scripts and things will be. We'll hardly be doing anything in the file explorer really. Then in the middle, we've got our editor section where if we're opening a file, we can see what's inside the file, make changes manually. I'm not going to be doing this much at all. Shout out to the handy dandy AI I mentioned earlier. Then most important of all, over here on the right, we've got our agent chat window. So this is where we can just chat back and forth with our AI agent of choice to explain what we're wanting it to build for us. And it's also where it will tell us what it's done or any issues it's run into and whatnot. Before we go any further with Antigravity, first of all, we want to get some inspiration for the landing page that we're going to build. So let's jump over to the site called Dribble, which is a bizarrely named site, but one which has thousands and thousands of different just epic designs for websites, landing pages and everything. Because we're wanting to build a high converting landing page, not a clunky giant website, filled with distractions and glossy sales, brochure style content or whatever, we want to give the AI a head start with this design. So it's not reinventing the wheel and potentially going off in the wrong direction. Lots of ways we could do this. Yeah, we could click the nicest design we see right away, but actually I think it's much more valuable to search for something like, a high converting landing page or high converting offer. We could also show our AI agent a high converting landing page example from conversion rate optimization specialists like Alicia Conlon Hurd. So we can give it some really great inspiration to build on. I'm just on her website at the moment. I've just clicked on portfolio and then landing pages. So we can see all sorts of great examples of like really high converting offers. Regardless of the design that we use, we can actually reference her by name when we're talking to our agent, whatever design we choose, to give it like a guiding light on what direction to take with our page structure, with our headline style, like calls to action, all of that sort of stuff. So let's imagine I'm working with a kitchen remodeling company. I do love working with real estate related companies as they're almost always high ticket And so they really value the work I do for them. And when I help them get leads and substantially grow their business, they're going to want to work with me for years to come. So that's pretty sweet. So this one here is obviously an example where it's built out for, a home renovation landing page. A landing page like this has a lot going for it. It's got the benefit-driven dream outcome headlines. We've got strong call to action buttons, clear next step, got a bunch of like social proof. We'll save the full image, which is like the full page screenshot. All right, we're ready to build our landing page. In Antigravity, we can choose what AI model we want to be working with on this project. I'm going to leave it actually set to Gemini 3 Flash, which is plenty, I think, for this work that we're wanting to do. It's worth noting, as I mentioned before, you get just a ton of different token credits, even on a free Google account. Today, I want to show you a super fast and easy way to go about building a landing page. In Antigravity, when we're building with AI agents, we can go about this in a multitude of ways with a bunch of different complexity. But today, let's just keep it super simple and get something made quickly. So I'm going to say this to my agent. I want you to build me a high converting landing page using standalone HTML, CSS, and JavaScript if you need it, all in one index.html file. I want you to use the landing page design example screenshot I've put in the screenshots folder, recreate that beautiful high converting landing page design, but I also want you to use the expert CRO principles that Alicia Conlon Hurd talks about to tweak the landing page design, headlines, calls to action, and body copy somewhat. Also, my client is a kitchen remodeling company called Mighty Fine Kitchens. So focus the headline, copy, and overall offer around that, hitting on the dream outcome of their ideal customer and hitting on a couple of their primary pain points and benefits of working with my client. I want this page to use Alicia's conversion rate optimization advice to make this a very high converting page, which delivers the highest quality and quantity of leads to my client. Note also that I actually have Antigravity in planning mode. So now when I hit enter, you'll see that Gemini is going to think about what I've asked it for, look at the screenshot, and come up with an implementation plan, which will ask me to look over and approve. If I have any issue with what its plan is, I can then add comments to its implementation plan, or I can just talk to it in this chat to explain what I'm thinking. And then basically we just tell it to proceed. Just a reminder as well, currently we do have Antigravity set to the most cautious mode, which requires us to approve each action that it's taking. Once you get more confident with Antigravity, you can actually set it to just do things without your oversight, which is much, much faster. It does have some small amount of risk to it. Shout out to the stories of some early user of Antigravity accidentally getting their hard drive erased by an overzealous but confused agent. But broadly, Antigravity safeguards are pretty good now, and we can constrain the agent to only have full modify access to the files within our workspace. And for this simple little project like this, it's actually very safe, I think. So let's see what it can do. All right, so now you can see here that it has come back with a implementation plan, which it's suggesting in order to build this landing page or project that we're wanting built. So it's saying here, build a premium high converting standalone landing page for Mighty Fine Kitchens using Alicia Conlon Hurd's CRO principles. Interestingly here, it's put forward what Alicia refers to as a golden hippo offer, a free kitchen vision session and 3D render, value $500. Here it's really pointing out like we're going to make this kind of bold offer, offering all this free value up front to get the leads really coming in. Please confirm if this offer aligns with the client's actual capabilities or if we should pivot to a standard like free quote type scenario. I did steer it in this direction. If I hadn't, it basically would have just recreated the landing page similar to our example, just kind of swapping out a few of the relevant details. And obviously, if we've got a whole bunch of kind of content that we want to use for our client, we can just give it that upfront so that it populates it all as we go. But I really just wanted to use this to demonstrate like how powerful this is. Notice here as well, it's pointing out that it's wanting to use this dark premium aesthetic of charcoal, gold, and white to differentiate from cheap contractors and appeal to high quality leads. So it's giving some thought to it as well. Some of that it will be getting from Alicia and her examples. So it proposes a variety of different HTML elements and various things. I'm not really too worried about any of this. As long as we get the outcome we want, we should be good. You'll note here as well that it does have down here mentioned a verification plan. We haven't actually asked it to set up any automated tests, which we definitely can do. This is kind of how I mentioned previously that as we go, we can really build out our AI agent to give it parameters and kind of guidelines on how we want our projects built out. So we might have actually said, build out a whole raft of automated tests. I want you to kind of go through, test to make sure that you're meeting our requirements and then rebuild accordingly over and over if needed to get to an end result of a website that absolutely nails what our request was, or if it was like a software product that we were getting it to build, having it go through and test a whole raft of different things. But that's fine. We've read through the implementation plan, so now we're happy for it to proceed. Okay, so now it's finished the work and it's loaded up a walkthrough page, which is what it does after it completes one of the projects that you ask it to do. So it's saying here, I've completed the high converting landing page for Mighty Fine Kitchens. The implementation is a single file solution using premium aesthetics and advanced CRO principles. Gives a few of the technical details here, different color palettes. We've got the hex color codes in case we're needing them. Typography is used. It's loaded in imagery and stuff as well. It's got some micro animations. And it's talked about some of the offer and CRO principles that it's used based on what we asked it for. Now, it did also say here that it encountered a bit of an issue trying to load the browser. And that's actually another interesting thing about Antigravity, where once it's configured correctly, it's able to open up an instance of Chrome and load whatever landing page or web application that it's just built, browse around, take its own screenshots, use those to validate that it's actually built what it is that's been asked for. Also like to try the different functions of your software and things that it's built, just to make sure that the different features and functions actually work correctly. But for now, we can literally just open up the landing page in the browser and see how it's done. So here we have it, got a very professional looking landing page for a kitchen company, Mighty Fine Kitchens. It does indeed have the Alicia Conlon Hurd CRO style of really putting these kind of bold dream outcomes mentioned here. Very clear, like, you know, you're going to get all this value, claim your free session, the amount of value you're getting out of it. As we asked it to, it's touching on things like the pain points. And if we look back at the original screenshot that we gave, this is actually fairly accurate in its kind of style. And I think it's done a great job. As we start scrolling down the page a little, we see a few of these call outs. And then we get further down into the page and see more of this kind of style of really letting the prospect feel the pain, you know, perhaps what they've experienced in the past or fears about what might unfold if they go with the wrong contractor, for example. We see here it's loaded in some other specializations. Interestingly, it's kind of got one of these images wrong. Most of it, you know, is kind of pretty much on point. The cabinetry, structural changes around kitchens, but it's brought in here, this bathroom, bizarrely. And of course, we can just go straight back to the agent and have it fix that for us. We see a bunch of testimonials loaded in here. Obviously, we'd want to fill those out with real ones, but it's just giving you a great kind of place to put things. Overall, I think it's done a fantastic job. So if we now go back to Antigravity, we can say, that's great. The image near the bottom on the right-hand side is of a bathroom. Please fix that one. And in this way, we should just be able to chat back and forth with the agent just to have it make any changes we're needing. It's worth noting as well, as it carries out work, you can just see how it's thinking about things. So it's saying like, I've built this out and the users pointed out this, and now I'm going to fix that for them. And apparently it's now finished the work. So we can check the site again, give it a refresh, and we see now that it's replaced with a more suitable image of this kind of open concept logic that they were talking about, where the kitchen flows into the rest of the house and so on. That landing page is ready to go. I can see here, you know, we've got removing kind of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, which is another main principle that we have in improving conversion rates. So I think this page would actually do really well. Also, remember that we can always edit the file just by going over here to this file explorer and clicking on that index.html. We can load it up here and we can look through the code. We can actually find specific things that we're wanting to change if we're really wanting to, whether it's to the code itself, to CSS style sheet, to the text content of the page, whatever it is. Most cases, I would just have the AI agent make the changes I'm wanting. I think we're beyond needing to make a bunch of fiddly little changes to code when we have an agent there available to do the work for us. Next, we can easily add functionality to make the form submit wherever we need it to go. For example, into a CRM, or if your client doesn't have a CRM, one nice quick win that I've found is to have it add leads to a Google Sheet and send them an email from the Google Apps script for every lead received. You know, they love this if they don't have a CRM already. Likewise, we can easily have it create a thank you page to send prospects to after they've submitted their lead information. It's always a good idea. Now that we know how to create a high converting landing page easily, we need to be able to easily create valuable interactive lead magnets to give to our customers who provide their email tier. These two things combined are super effective. So watch this video next to see how to create your own awesome lead magnet in 5 minutes. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.